Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order and a pledge of the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Board Member Cole.
Here.
Board Member Dean.
Here, Sean.
Board Member Kimball.
Here.
Chairman Sirianni.
Here.
Board Member Weiss.
Here.
Any public comments, Sean?
None this evening, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. What about correspondence?
Mr. Chairman, there's one item of correspondence in the packet regarding a lead service line replacement grant. I have a little bit more detail on that in my presentation if I could
Okay,
just get to that. in a
that's
moment.
fine. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at the prior minutes? If there's any questions, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
There's a first, Matt second. Any discussion on it? Roll call, Sean.
Board Member Cole.
Yes.
Board Member Dean.
Yes.
Board Member Kimball.
Yes.
Board Member Weiss.
Yes.
Chairman Sirianni.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Board Member Weiss has to abstain. He wasn't at the meeting.
Well,
I will gladly abstain for Ms. Kimball's pleasure.
okay.
Okay, I will revise the tally to 4-0, 1 abstention.
Coffee.
I'm just trying to pull up a PowerPoint. Just one moment, please.
Okay.
Oh, no. Oh, well, unfortunately, the laptop is restarted. Mr. Chairman, if it would be okay with the board, while we deal with this technical issue, if
Move
we could
forward.
move on to Ms.
Okay.
Olkowski.
We'll talk about finance with Deborah Zielkowski. Caught you off guard there, huh?
Good evening.
Good evening, Deb.
So at this time, we currently are undergoing the audit. Right now, they're not in the office. They are doing it remotely. We're just sending any questions to us. So we had a second set of questions. We answered those today. It's been a great process so far. I'm hoping that we can conclude within the next few weeks. So aside from that, I just wanted to go over some of the things in the financial statements. One thing that I wanted to point out was water revenue is trending the same as last year, slightly higher. Then it is lower than the year-to-date budget. The sewer revenue actuals is trending lower than last year by about 10%. And this is due to the decrease in industrial SIU, which is down approximately 1.4 million or 33% from the previous year. And as far as personnel goes, just briefly touching on it, personnel services, the expenses are up approximately 7.4% on the water side. Within budget, it is within budget. And same thing with the sewer, it's up by 14%, but it's within budget. Overtime is up 33%, but again, within budget. And one thing that's been interesting, the last few months I've noticed, but I really didn't have a good understanding of it until I spoke with Doug, and the contractual expenses are actually down by 35%. And that is a result of, again, like the SIUs not coming into play as much when it comes to the wastewater. So it's more dilute. And the treatment plant then requires less sodium hypochlorite to disinfect. And with the hypochlorite solution, it is actually down, the cost is down 72% or $1 million. So that is just really outstanding that we can see some improvements to the bottom line as a result. And then we also have lower costs because the cold weather and the cold water is basically allowing us to use fewer chemicals. So then that's about all that I have for this evening, unless anybody has any questions.
Yeah, I got one. I thought I heard you say that, you know, the industrial was performing better as far as revenue goes
The industrial
than
is,
expected.
it is the expenses. The expenses are down
Okay,
the-
but the
for
revenue
for
was
the SIUs.
is higher than expected.
The SIU expenses are lower than what was anticipated
Okay,
because there's fewer SIUs releasing chemicals and then so that then therefore we use fewer chemicals because of the dilute water.
but the revenue is.
The revenue is actually, the revenue for SIUs has been decreasing. The industrials have been remaining the same approximately. And then with let's see here for,
Because I guess where I'm headed with it is one of the budget considerations was the loss of what, $5 million from the closure of
Okay.
Cascades.
so
And I just wondered how we're doing on the revenue side.
very, very good question. So the SIU, industrial SIU is down from 4.1 million last year to 2.7 million. So there is that loss. But at the same time, there is the benefit of $1 million less using on hypochlorite. So
Right,
there's
so we're
kind of like
still even,
a-
I mean, what I guess what I'm getting at, we had budgeted knowing
the
that
budget
that 5 million
actually,
wasn't gonna be there,
Mhm.
so we're still not. Are we expected to have as much, any indication whether we're gonna have, you know, still a deficit in that revenue, or
but
are we
we
gonna
were,
hit even?
we were expecting to, for budget was 6.5 million that we were expecting to be at. But then right now, currently, we are at 2.7. So then there is like the loss of the revenue. And then there is on the chemical side, we're seeing that there's the savings of not having those SIUs.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's, but the savings negate the loss of revenue. I think over time it will, because it's not just like the hypochlorite, it's also some of this, like there's a ferric acid there's less of that we're using. So it's going to be a little bit of a loss, I'm suspecting, but it's
Yeah.
not going to be like a ginormous $2 million.
I know the SIU billings vary. It's just, I think that's something we need to watch. Seeing as how we lost, you know, that 5 million from last year, that just any indicator at all, if it's not coming in based on what we had projected for the budget, we would want to know that sooner rather than later.
Right. We're coming in lower for the SIU revenue, and we're also coming in lower for the SIU expenses.
Yeah.
I can definitely take a look and see if there's any other expenses that we're saving on the sewer side. There were quite a few chemicals actually that I noticed.
Yeah, I can understand the correlation with the
Mhm.
the expense
So-
side.
For
Yes.
example, we were budgeting using for the hypochlorite solution, we were budgeting using 4 million expenses. But then we're actually coming in at 422,000. So they're right there, our expenses are lower. Last year, our expenses were 1.4 million. So we're already 1 million less in the expenses. But then again, it's like much lower than what we had budgeted for. And then the other chemicals, some of the other chemicals that were coming in lower are the ferric chloride. So we had budgeted for close to 500,000. We're coming in at 244,000. And then there's, what is this one? It's pebble lime. We had budgeted for 160,000. We're coming in at 74,000. And last year we had used 110,000. So it's going to be pretty close. It's going to be
Okay.
pretty close. But yes, the loss of revenue overall is something that we really should try to make up somehow. But
Well, I
moment.
mean, we adjusted our budget for that loss of 5 million, so you know, if the other SIUs are not, you know, if they're at or higher or less than, you know, what the billings were last year, that's something that, you know, we should at least be aware of that.
Absolutely.
And I know they jump around. I think what Sean was saying is they're a little bit unpredictable too, right?
Yes, and overall revenues, water revenues at 39% and, I'm sorry, sewer revenues at 39% of budget. And water revenue is at 44% of budget through May, so 5/12 of the year. So that's not dramatically far off in terms of overall revenue numbers.
Okay,
And expenses are, you know, of course, we tried to overestimate slightly on expenses, so they're trending in a good direction as well. You know,
okay,
things like hypochlorite, sodium hypochlorite, the use of that accelerates considerably as wastewater warms. So while we're really low on that right now, you know, through May, the end of May, in the next 3 months, we'll see substantially higher utilization on that budget line, just because we use a lot more once the wastewater hits about 62 degrees, which it did within the past few weeks.
okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Any more questions for Debbie?
Not a question, just a quick comment. Thank you for being, I consider that unbelievably prepared to have all that information ready to go. A lot of people would have just said, I'll get back to you. But I'm impressed that you had all that organized and ready to go without knowing it was going to come up question wise. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Debbie.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, I think I'm good to go with my slides now.
Executive Director, General Counsel, Sean Costello.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Apologize, jumping in on an unfamiliar laptop with mine encountered an issue. So first off, I mentioned briefly last month that just a couple days before last month's board meeting, there had been a Touch a Truck event, and I had said that there were some great photographs. Not all of those are up here because I realized that it would be somewhat inappropriate to share pictures of kids' faces on a streamed presentation. But I just wanted to acknowledge that that was a great event, community opportunity. And the way we got to that is the president of the operators unit, which is a mechanics and operators unit, Jerry Chandler at the wastewater treatment plant, was approached by a teacher, Jennifer Metler, from one of the schools and brought the opportunity to us. The two gentlemen that were present, representing the water board with our combination vacuum truck and the camera truck, were Mason Shoemate and Tracy Miracle Petrillo. So they did a great job with the kids. It was a great community opportunity. So I'd like to thank Jerry, Ms. Metler, Mason, and Tracy for their efforts on that. And Mr. Eagler helped get us there as well. So an update on the John Avenue sewer collapse. That's the 44-inch sewer collapse on the Goodyear property. For weeks now, the sewer's been open and flowing, requiring minimal bypass pumping now that the collapse has been excavated. The repair was complicated by the fact that the top of the pipe was more than 20 feet deep, so we had to have engineered shoring. The length of the break was long enough that it required 2 sets of that engineered shoring, which slowed us down even more to get another set shipped up here and installed. The total length of the collapse is about 42 feet. We don't really know exactly why the collapse occurred. Of course, the sewer is approaching 100 years in age, but there were large pieces of old foundation almost directly on top of the area of collapse. So during some prior backfilling operation or demolition or construction event in the last 100 years, it seems that a bunch of large chunks of concrete were left on top of the sewer main. Plus, as they excavated, they discovered that it was backfilled with clay almost directly on top of the sewer, which is not the way that we would construct things today. The area beyond the collapse, Mr. Eagler was able to look physically at, and we were able to send a camera down to the next manhole. Looks reasonably sound. It's hardly in pristine condition, but it's in much better condition than some other sewers that Rick Roll, the engineer that's been with the water board for a very long time, has laid eyes on. So we think that the plan now is to make this repair to this area, so a spot repair, rather than attempt to line more of the tunnel, and for a number of reasons, lining would be impractical right now anyway. The repair plan is to slip line it with 42-inch diameter HDPE pipe. So although and that's the outside diameter, which will slide into that 44-inch inside diameter sewer. So a 42-inch HDPE pipe is 37 point something in internal diameter, so about 38 inches. But even though we're going from 44 inches to 38 inches, there's no loss in hydraulic capacity because the HDPE pipe is perfectly smooth and it resists the growth of algae. Whereas the clay tile sewer construction, the block sewer construction, is not smooth. It's got a lot more friction for water. So the Manning's equation says that we won't lose any hydraulic capacity by slip lining down to that smaller diameter. They will, once they get the pipe in, they'll grout around the outside using essentially flowable fill, the annulus, in order to seal it. And then we'll fill around it with flowable fill to give it additional structural integrity. Pipe availability has been confirmed as of today. Not sure of the exact date of delivery. We're going to attempt to bend the pipe in one straight solid section. HDPE is quite flexible. If that's not possible, we'll cut it into a couple of pieces and we'll have to use a repair clamp with a reinforcement in between. But good progress, taking longer than we had hoped, but good progress on that. We don't have any tally of the total costs. You know, we're renting the large bypass pumps and it's time and material with Sarone's efforts. You know, they're our emergency repair contract. So we don't have a total accounting of what this overall repair will cost, but sometime soon, it'll be before the board for approval. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we have more to report on this. The West River Shore,
Sean?
yes.
Question on that. Are other pumps to help this? Are they still pumping constantly?
They are not pumping constantly. I don't think that we've operated the pumps in several weeks. Is that correct, Mr. Eagle?
Yeah, any pumps, the auxiliary pumps that we use for the lift station have been used, but any of the pumps we have set up on 66th Street as well as 61st Street have not been turned on.
So let me ask you, could we eliminate them and save money now if we're not using them? It's just a question.
I think that we're keeping them in place for a couple of reasons. One, as a just in case in the event of extraordinarily wet weather, we'd much rather incur those rental costs than flood a bunch of basements. And also in connection with this repair, there's going to be times where we're not able to allow that sewer to keep flowing. Right now it's flowing through the trench, but we're gonna have to stop it in order to make the repair. So we might possibly need those bypass pumps. Because we hope to have this pipe within the next couple of weeks and, you know, the repair within the month, I think that we're probably in abundance of caution should maintain those pumps for a bit longer.
Okay.
Mr. Eagler, please go ahead.
We had rented 7 pumps, we're down to 3, 4 have been returned.
Okay.
So we're weeding them out as necessary.
Okay.
But we're ready to respond if conditions warrant.
Okay.
We've been extraordinarily lucky and successful in protecting against backups as a result of this issue.
Okay, Sean, thank you. You can continue now.
Next, the West River Shore water main replacement. At the last meeting, it was mentioned that we were exploring options because the engineer or the contractor's test pit for the horizontal directional drilling, which was the plan for the 500-foot section on the furthest west end of the island. They had encountered a lot of debris in their test pit. So that's the excavation from the test pit right there. That's why they didn't want to try to push the 8-inch pipe through the ground. We had wanted to use that horizontal directional drilling to limit disturbance of what is known to be contaminated soils. It's not a secret and it's not new information. Everybody's known for a long time, since the 90s at least, that there are potential issues with the soils in that area. After they discovered all these issues, when they dug their initial test pit, the contractor asked if they could switch to open trench installation like the rest of the main has been installed. We worked with CPL and the Department of Health and the DEC to revise the plan to see if that was feasible. 2 questions had to be answered. One, whether it would be, you know, a cost neutral or not a huge, you know, cost plus for the water board. And 2, to get approval from DOH and the DEC, who are both involved. DOH as the entity that approves the water main contract, and DEC because they're involved in the potential environmental issues on that portion of Cayuga Island. Ultimately, we were able to get approval from DOH and DEC. And the cost items are all addressed in the bid unit prices. So we'll pay the same cost to do that open trench excavation as we have for the rest of the, the linear foot for the rest of the project. We will pay to dispose of all of the materials that are excavated in that section. It's going to have to be, it's treated as contaminated. So it's going to be loaded directly on trucks and transported directly to landfill. It's not going to have any intermediate stops. It's not going to sit in the contractor's yard or anything. It has to be disposed of immediately. But even with that cost, calculating the total volume of soils and the rate that we're being charged for the disposal, it still ends up being essentially an even cost for us. The only additional cost is the community air monitoring plan. While the contractor is excavating in that area, the DEC and DOH wanted us to use a community air monitoring plan in addition to controlling for dust using water. So that's just, it's two setups, upwind and downwind of the excavations to make sure that nothing is being aerosolized or put, that the dust that is coming out of the excavation is not going to have any harmful health effects. If anything's discovered, we of course reported immediately to the DEC and DOH, but the project should move fairly smoothly now. That additional cost of about $1,400 per day for the community air monitoring plan, that's just limited to the time when they're actually excavating there. So it should just be 1 to 2 weeks of work to get the last 500 feet of main in. This is particularly timely because this morning the Buffalo News ran an article about soil contamination on West River Shore, and they mentioned how as part of routine water line work, contamination was discovered. Well, as I mentioned, contamination has been known in that area for a very long time. It was spilled from industrial plants in Niagara Falls. The most recent data, though, and what sparked some renewed attention from DEC was the test pits that were bored by the water board, by our engineering firm's contractor in preparation for letting this contract out to bid. So that was necessary in order to characterize the soils to know how much disposal we would have and whether the soil was going to be deemed contaminated or hazardous, which have different costs for disposal. Thus far, nothing that has been encountered meets the definition of hazardous as they excavate. It's just contaminated. So that'll continue. That's why, though, because it is contaminated, it has to go directly to landfill. On site, in addition to that community air monitoring plan, the contractor's testing subconsultant will have a PID detector to measure if there are any, volatile organics. So we have a pretty comprehensive plan to protect health in the area and to make sure this job gets finished in a workmanlike manner without any substantial delays. So for about a month, there was no activity on West River Shore as we got all these things lined up in order and approved. But the contractor has resumed work, I believe, today. And hopefully they'll be done with the water main excavation and installation within a couple of weeks. There's a lot more work that has to be done after that in terms of connecting the hydrants and the service lines, but good progress being made.
Just a question on that though, regarding the trucks, are they required to be lined?
I don't think so. The soils aren't particularly wet. They have to be covered, I'm sure, but they're going directly to Republic. The contractor worked out the disposal and everything their subconsultant, their environmental subconsultant,
And they're
worked directly with Republic to make arrangements for the disposal.
And they're keeping the road clean. The last thing we need with the article is somebody saying they're seeing dirt on the road and it's coming out of the trucks.
Especially in that section, they've had dust control with water throughout the project, but they're going to be right on top of that for this section, this last 500 feet. So It is dusty. I mean, just inevitably, temporarily the trench is filled with essentially gravel, which is dusty by nature, but we'll make sure that during the excavation and the soil removal, dust is minimized through the active misting.
Yeah, because as soon as somebody sees mud tracks going down the road, they're going to say it's all contaminated.
Unfortunately, possibly.
Okay.
So moving on, last week on, I think Wednesday at 11 a.m., the WIA grant application deadline was announced. There's a substantial amount of money available for grant awards. The application deadline is 4 p.m. on Monday, July 27th, and the problem there is the board's next meeting is 5 PM on Monday, July 27th. So I expect that we will have to ask the board for a relatively brief special meeting between now and July 27th, or perhaps the board just reschedules its July meeting, so that we can have the board approve resolutions to authorize grant applications and to handle the environmental review seeker process for the two applications that we anticipate submitting. We anticipate submitting on the clean water project application, and clean water being sewer, the wastewater treatment plant biological conversion. We could get up to $25 million in grant money toward that project through WIA. And on the drinking water end, we can get up to $5 million or 70% of net project costs. And the plan there is for a package of work. The items are listed in the chart. The first four relate to the water treatment plant, to renewing or putting some systems that were originally constructed but never used online in order to maintain a steady pH here, to keep the corrosion control chemical in phase, and also updating from polyorthophosphate to phosphoric acid for more effective corrosion control in order to prevent lead from getting out of customer-owned service lines and plumbing into drinking water. Replacing the filter media will make our treatment process more efficient and allow us potentially to use a bit less of the alumina based coagulant that we currently use. So that'll be a benefit. And then the last item there is the 56th Street tank interior and exterior improvements. That principally relates to interior delamination and corrosion that is beginning inside the 56th Street tank, which has been continuously in service since 1997. There was no way previously to address that corrosion, but now that the Beach Avenue tank will be back online within the next couple of years, we should be able to take the 56th Street tank down, address the issues on the interior of the tank. And while we're at it, this $3 million figure includes exterior recoating. We understand from just speaking with painting contractors that the exterior recoating will be far less expensive to do sooner than later, because the existing coating it's deteriorating and beginning to fail in places. There's rust coming through. It's a lot more expensive to sandblast the entire tank and recoat it than it is to sandblast limited areas and just coat over, good paint. So that is our plan for the WIA grant applications, and I will communicate more with the board about potentially moving the July board meeting date up a week or something along those lines. Last, the one item of correspondence that was in the packet relates to a lead service line replacement grant award. The grant award and the project number are there. This will allow us to replace 314 lead and galvanized requiring replacement service lines. It's the full scope of work from engineering, replacement, street and lawn restoration. The grant is based on an estimated total cost of $12,500 per service line replaced, plus 15% for engineering and administration, for a total project of about $4.5 million. We received a grant of $3.4 million and interest-free financing of $1.4 million. The locations that are going to be replaced are those dots on the map, so it's a pretty widely dispersed throughout the city. And the reason those 314 lines were selected is because they were the first 314 that we were able to confirm were lead or galvanized requiring replacement. We continue to work on the inventory. We have a lot of unknowns still, and we'll be applying for more grants in the future. But this is our first major step toward meeting the lead and copper rule improvement requirements of removing all the lead and galvanized that followed lead from the system. The next step in the next month or two is to get an RFP together for engineering services, and I'm optimistic that we're going to begin this physical work next year.
Do you have any guess, Sean, at what percentage that is of all the lead lines we have?
I do not have a percentage, but we currently have 17,000, give or take, unknowns. We likely have a larger percentage of lead service lines than many other communities because it's an older community with older housing stock. Pretty much anything installed before 1986, we can't guarantee that there wasn't some lead on a portion of the service line. But we will continue to refine that and work on that inventory. This is not a one and done project or a quick project. It's a 10-year timeline, or still 12 years really from now, for a reason, because of the complexity and the scale and scope of the work that's required.
Okay, thanks.
But that's great news that we got
It is,
a substantial grant award to move this project forward.
it is a great job.
Okay, thank you. As far as, changing the date, the board, I don't know their schedules, but would 1 week give you the time you needed?
If it was moved up 1 week, yes, absolutely.
Okay, well then, at least everyone can figure out their schedule and you let us know.
Yes,
And are we still scheduled to be off in August?
yes.
We are. Okay. Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Sean? Okay. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Administrative Services, Caleb Holman.
Good evening.
Hi.
We held workplace violence prevention training on June 9th at the water treatment plant and on June 11th at the wastewater treatment plant. We're scheduled for safety trainings conducted by Winkosh on workplace exposure to outdoor hazards on June 16th at the water treatment plant and on June 18th at the wastewater treatment plant. And for our personnel actions, we are requesting to hire a seasonal intern for our IT department. Our current IT intern has indicated that he will not be returning for the summer and is moving on to another opportunity. And this individual will work part-time and help out with IT projects, learning alongside John and El.
That's a paid internship?
Yes, it'll be $17 per hour, which is the current wage that was previously approved.
These are, sorry, maybe a dumb question. These are college or high school interns?
College.
College.
And the intent is just during college breaks, not a year-round,
Oh,
you know.
they don't
opportunity.
work part-time during the year.
That has
No.
not been the case previously. It was just, limited help.
Okay.
Just through the summer, basically.
Summer and, the previous gentleman came, 3 or 4 days during his Christmas break and a couple days during spring break and,
And fall break.
just a limited here and there. And, I believe Mr. Joyce found, his help actually valuable, for smaller projects where, somebody that's knowledgeable, we're going to be looking for somebody that's in a, computer engineering or IT related, course of study.
Are there any questions towards Caleb? Before I go to personal action? Okay, is there a motion for line item number 1 on the
Motion.
personal action sheet?
Motion to approve line item 1.
James, is there a second?
27.
I'll second it.
Dan seconds it. Is there any discussion on it?
No, but I need a minute to get on the same physical page, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Are you still with us, Renee?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have it, Matt?
Yep, thank you.
Roll call, Sean?
Board Member Cole,
Yes.
Board Member Dean,
Yes.
Board Member Kimball,
Yes.
Board Member Weiss,
Yes.
Chairman Siriani.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. Thanks, Caleb. Engineering, Doug Williamson, please.
We submitted an engineering report a couple weeks ago for the Clean Water State Revolving Fund Intended Use Plan for potential grant funding. There were 6 projects totaling about 11.6 million that we need funding for to continue some projects. Included intermediate pump station rehabilitation, a rebuild of 3 belt filter presses, Power Center 1 HVAC improvements, Power Center 4 improvements in transformer replacement, power substation improvements, and sodium hypochlorite bulk storage tank improvements. We have a meeting later this week to further discuss the 2026 grant applications. We updated our annual wastewater treatment plant spill prevention report for 2026 recently. New York State DEC requires owners of chemical bulk storage facilities to prepare and maintain a written spill prevention report to outline risk management and emergency procedures. We currently maintain 2 ferric chloride, 2 sodium hypochlorite, and 1 hydrogen peroxide tank that are registered every 2 years and require certified inspections by an outside consultant every 5 years for satisfactory condition of continued use. The 5 flow meters were installed by TechSmith last week. They're currently collecting flow level measurement data that Hayden Sawyer will use to develop the wastewater treatment plant hydraulic model. Finally, we had a pre-construction meeting for the Beach Avenue water storage tank rehabilitation project with CPL and Atlas Painting last week, or actually June 5th. Preparations began for the painting work last week. It included the stone driveway and temporary fence installation. The painting completion date is currently scheduled for October 31st of this year, with substantial completion by August of next year.
Are there any questions for Doug?
Yeah, just one on the SIU updates.
Okay.
Says Niagara Custom Plating shut down and they're,
No,
building?
that's under Matt Lagamba.
okay.
I
The
could probably
S-
answer.
Yeah, I mean, I might be able to answer it.
Do we know if they're looking within the city or are they looking to find a building outside the city?
I do not know. So essentially, with the building burned down, they had a fire.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot transfer the permit to a new location without submitting to be a new SIU. And I had a conversation with the owner within the past few months. Just didn't really know what the long-term future was for that firm.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Doug.
Okay, thank you.
Outside infrastructure, Mike Eagler, Senior, please.
Good evening, how are you? Sean did a real good job on all the projects, so I'll just let you know that we have started our concrete push for this spring. At this time, we've done 27. We still have a lot left to go. We're mainly hitting around schools, hospitals, and main roadways. Tuscarora was concreted today and will be blacktop first thing tomorrow. The plates will be out of there. We'll be out of Tuscarora. At the pace right now, last year at this time, we had 58 main breaks. We're down to 39. So it's buying us some time to get caught up on concrete cuts and stuff like that. SCADA, our SCADA, which has been the migration from our old system, which was a flight view, is now it was a pump view. Now it's a flight view. And the last couple of rain events, particularly this past Saturday or Sunday, the downpours, it worked great. So we're happy with that. We're going to push forward on taking care of that. This year's been very wet for Rebecca. We've done 409 hours of bypassing, just to give you an idea how much it's rained out there lately. But that's all I have. Like I said, Sean did a great job updating on the project. So
I can't believe you're gonna have that steel plate out of there, cemented and blacktop
it was we planned it.
that quick.
So we called on Friday, got Lafarge, made sure we had it for Monday morning today. So we went in there, coned it, concreted, put the plates back, talked to DPW. We're going to meet them out there at 8 a.m. The plates and all that will be out there tomorrow.
Very good, thank you. Are there any questions for Michael?
I'd just like to apprise the board too, that even with the intense rain that we had on Sunday, there were no water and basement complaints. So that continues a trend that's really exceptional, that reflects improved maintenance, sewer flushing, catch basin cleaning and things like that. Something that we can be very proud of. And as the guy who also handles the claims when they come in, I'm very delighted that we've had far fewer instances of water and basement this year.
It's huge. That's how we measure it.
Thanks for taking care of it all.
We compliment the crew. If you would.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Information and operational technology, Alton Salba, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We continue to deploy network switches. Most of the work is being done off hours to minimize any disruption to our plant operations. We also continue to deploy two-factor authentication for Niagara Falls Water Board employees. And this is to work towards our ongoing cybersecurity enhancement initiatives. We are in the process of obtaining quotes to replace the SCADA hypervisor at the wastewater treatment plants to improve reliability, performance, and long-term functionality. The UPS for wastewater treatment plants are ordered. We are waiting and reviewing panel drawings and designs. This upgrade will help to improve system reliability and help address ongoing power issues at the plants. We are working closely with vendors to quickly move to the next step for our current SCADA platform upgrade. This would help enhance operational efficiency and improve robust cybersecurity protections, especially in our OT environments. We continue to test the new open text backup and recovery software as part of our disaster recovery and business continuity. Lastly, the BSI backflow prevention software for the cross connection department is online starting today. That's all I have for now.
Are there any questions for Alton?
Yeah, just one, Eldon, the upgrades you talk about, or maybe Sean can help, is these were all budgeted, for this year's budget?
Some have been capital procurements that have been approved so far. The biggest SCADA upgrade that we're working on, and some will be just purchased out of the operating budget for IT. But the biggest SCADA related project we're working on is to upgrade the SCADA at this plant, and we have about $500,000 in grant funding already secured for it. The water treatment plant SCADA is original 1997 software and programming. It needs to be updated desperately in order to avoid failures and improve the cybersecurity posture. The board previously had awarded a $12,500 preliminary study agreement with Nussbaumer and Clark. That work is now complete, and we've been having some meetings with Nussbaumer and representatives of some of the larger players in the field, the SCADA operational technology field. The conclusions that we've kind of reached are that we're going to stick with the iFix software, which is what we currently run at this plant. We're just going to upgrade from the current software. We had strongly weighed going with a less expensive, moderately less expensive software from Schneider, but the advantage to sticking with iFix is the wastewater treatment plant also uses iFix. iFix professionals are kind of rare to find in Western New York. Some of the best help we've gotten comes from Massachusetts, but our longer term plan is to get Elton the training that he needs to become the Western New York iFix professional. There is a lot of training and schooling available. We just have, now that we've committed to this plan, this course of action to keep iFix, we're going to get Elton, and in particular Elton, but also John, but Elton's more our OT guy, and John more the IT guy, the training he needs to be able to successfully engineer more of the work in-house. The next step for that project, for which I mentioned we have $500,000 in grant funding, will be to either approve a amendment to Nussbaumer and Clark's contract. I believe that's how we had set up the original solicitation, that they were going to be awarded, task 1, 2, and 3 were this preliminary report, and task 4 is the actual design. But that'll come before the board because I'm fairly confident they'll be looking for an engineering fee substantially greater than $20,000 that I can approve. The long-term implications of that, we're probably a couple years out from implementing the project, but it's really necessary to get this plant SCADA upgraded.
Yeah, I'm just curious, how much of it is going on the capital improvement, and was there room in the current capital improvement plan? Did we have enough in there on that line item to take care of this?
The big dollars will be in the next capital plan. The big expenditures will be in the 2027 and forward years.
Okay.
And a subject that board member Dean and I discuss a lot is the capital plan. I am trying to update that because we'll need the board to approve another 5-year capital plan. The current one ends at the end of this year.
All right. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, Alton.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. May 26 operation maintenance report, Sean?
The only comment I would like to make is that the annual drinking water quality report for 2025 is ready. It's posted to our website, and it will be distributed in the next few bills to customers, as the quarterly cycles approach. There's a stack of additional copies in the back of the room if anybody present would like to take one, whether they be the board or the public. We also have them available out front in customer service, and I think we distribute them to the libraries as well. But the kind of the headline under the headline, I forget the correct title for that, is that yet again, since this plant went online, we've never exceeded a maximum contaminant level for a drinking water parameter. And so for 2025, we continued that streak. So this drinking water plant and the people who staff it continue to produce exceptionally high quality drinking water, of which the board can be proud and the community can feel very assured. So that is the one note I had there. And then the subpoint for operations and maintenance report is the E3 government affairs activity report. The two highlights there are June 5th, we met with Matt Roble and Emma DeForest from Senator Schumer's Western New York office for a discussion about our wastewater treatment plant biological upgrade and the unaffordability of it, the need for substantial assistance. And at that time, we also learned that, like Senator Gillibrand, Senator Schumer has included our request for about $3 million in congressionally directed spending in his requests submitted to Congress. It's no guarantee that we actually get that funding, but it's the farthest that we've made it with a congressionally directed spending request in some years, and you've got to be in it to win it. So we are hopeful that we will get some funding. The next significant outreach, Congressman Kennedy will be visiting the wastewater treatment plant on July 9th.
Thank you, Sean. Resolution, Sean.
The first resolution is resolution 2026-06-001. Workers' compensation insurance through New York State Municipal Workers' Compensation Alliance.
Page is that on, Sean?
It's at beginning at page 49 of the agenda packet.
Move it.
Second.
Renee made the motion, James seconded. Any discussion on it? Roll call, Sean?
Board Member Cole,
Yes.
Board Member Dean,
Yes.
Board Member Kimball,
Yes.
Board Member Weiss,
Yes.
Chairman Sirianni.
Yes.
Motion passes. The next resolution is 2026-06-002, found at page 56 of the agenda packet. Procurement of water treatment plant lead high lift pump.
Is there a motion?
Move it.
Renee, is there a second?
No second.
James Dean. Open for discussion? Roll
This-
call. Wait.
This is on the current budget year.
So we do have a capital budget line for pumps for water treatment plant large pump replacements. It's actually 1.1 on the capital line.
So it's something we had already planned on.
Yes, now
Right.
I can't commit that the exact dollar figure matches, but it is something that we have planned as part of our overall capital improvements.
Okay. Thank you.
Just the pump that we talked about.
Yes, yep. So we recently received there are two main pump sets here at the water treatment plant. There are the high lift pumps and the low lift pumps. The low lift pumps, there are 2 leads and 4 lags, I believe. We recently acquired a new lead pump should one of the 2 leads fail. Both leads have been in service since the plant went online and have never been rebuilt. So it's some assurance that if something happens, we'll be able to plug that pump in. And we're going to have similar capabilities with the lead high lift pumps once this pump arrives. In 2024, one of the high lift pumps was rebuilt. So this will give us a spare so we can be proactive rather than reactive in terms of maintenance.
So we should have a spare in each one, right?
We now will have spares for each of the most important pumps to the drinking water plant. Yes.
Okay.
Blue Connects is the only supplier for that?
Yes. The good thing is these pumps are, they're still the manufacturer. It's far too simplistic to say that you drop them in, but they're exact replacements.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Roll call.
Board Member Cole,
Yes.
Board Member Dean,
Yes.
Board Member Kimball,
Yes.
Board Member Weiss,
Yes.
Chairman Siriani.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. Is there any unfinished or old business anyone wants to discuss? Any new business or additional items for discussion? Get a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Move it.
Second.
Renee and James,
Thanks, Renee.
You're welcome.
roll call, Sean.
Board Member Cole,
Yes.
Board Member Dean,
Yes.
Board Member Kimball,
Yes.
Board Member Weiss,
Yes.
Chairman Siriani.
Yes. Thanks for coming, guys.
Good night, Renee.
Thanks for having,
I'll note for the
Good
clerk-
night.
good night.
Hmm.